Hello, guys. How are you? Don't get scared. We've studied this, but I'm going to review with you from the beginning. Okay. Are you safe first? Are you okay? I hope you are. I hope your family is okay. You're all doing well. Huge hug to all of you. Okay, let's start. So, part B, the supply. You know what the supply is. We have the demand, people who want to buy, and we have the supply, people who want to sell. Okay? So here we have been to page 51, table 3.3, to study the supply. So when the price of something is really, really low, you don't want to supply it. You're not making benefits. Okay? When the price is getting higher, you're making more profits. So you're supplying. If the price goes even higher, you supply even more. I know you're dying to eat my chocolate, but no, price higher, you supply more. Price higher, you supply even more. You're jealous. I know it. I did it on purpose. And I have lots and lots of them. Okay, let's move on. So we agree that when the price goes higher, the quantity supplied, you are willing to supply more, it gives you even more profits, okay? So if we take this, when the price is 1, I don't supply at all. When the price moves to 2, I supply 7 units. We don't care about the good we're supplying. When the price moves to 3, I supply 12. So if I calculate the slope, it's going to be positive. Shall we try? Okay, I'm going to take these 2 points. It's going to give me 5, it's delta P, okay? So 5 minus 4 over delta, you know how to calculate the slope. It's delta P over delta QS over 18 minus 6. That's going to give me 1 over 2. And that's your slope. You see that it's higher than 0. So the slope of the supply is always positive. Okay? We have seen that the demand had a slope that was always negative due to the law of downward slope in demand. But for the supply, it's always positive. Okay, so we call this a supply schedule when it's in a table format. If I plot this into a graph, it becomes the supply curve, okay? And you have it in page 51, figure 3.5. So I did it for you. I forgot to name the points. So this is A, this is point B, point B, point C, D, and E. So that would be your supply curve, okay? Now we're going to see forces behind the supply curve. Let's imagine we discover a new technology. That's the first force. So if we have, imagine a supply like this one. Don't move the board, move only this thing. Okay. I know it's small, but I don't have a lot of space. So P, quantity supplied, be nice, quantity supplied, and here is a supply, okay? This is a price. It's not easy writing on this thing. So, and this is the quantity supplied at that price, just like any point in this curve. I just want to keep this one neat because I'm going to use it again. Okay, so let's imagine this quantity is 10 and this price is $3, okay? So at $3, you supply 10 units, 10 units of whatever. Now, let's imagine it's pens. So I'm supplying pens at $3, I sell 10. Now let's imagine they discovered a new technology that allows them to produce 2 pens using the same amount of plastic. Let's imagine they make it thinner. I don't know, whatever technology, the cap becomes smaller. If you notice in the bottles of water we had, they actually decreased the size of the cap. So it's a new technology. They cut it a little smaller, so they're making more profits. Okay? So if you discover a new technology that allows you to produce more with the same input, so at the same costs, what are you going to do? Are you still going to produce 10? If I were a supplier, I would produce more, supply more, because I'm going to make more profit, isn't it? So I would supply a bit more at this price. So no longer 10, more. Now let's take a look at another price. Let's imagine $4. Here is what you were willing to supply, let's say 15. Now, with the new technology, you have with the same costs you had, you are going to be able to produce more. So you will supply more to make even more profits. So instead of 15, now I'm going to move to, I don't know, 20. Okay? So look at your curve, what it's doing. It's going to shift to the right. That's your new S. Actually, even though it looks lower than the old supply, I don't have corona. It looks lower than the old supply. It's actually an increase in supply. Okay? It's a shift in supply. Remember, this is plus infinity, and here is your 0, and here is your minus infinity. Well, when dealing with quantities, we stick to the positive side, so the minimum for us would be 0. But remember, an increase is to the right, a decrease is to the left, okay? Now let's imagine all our machines, all our technology doesn't work anymore. For example, there was how do they call it? An EMP bomb? Okay, our technology doesn't work. Now we have to go to the old ways of doing things. Now, at $4, I can't afford to produce 15. At $4 to supply, I'm sorry. At $4, I'm only going to supply, let's say, this is 9, okay? At $3, I'm even going to supply less, okay? Here, it's a decrease in supply. It's a shift in supply, but it's a decrease, okay? Well, normally technology actually increases its level. It doesn't decrease. But it's just to show you what an increase is and a decrease is. Okay, now moving to input prices, okay? Now, same thing. It has similar effect as technology. Now imagine the plastic I buy here used to cost $1, okay? So when the plastic used costs $1, when I sell it at $3, I supply 10 units, okay? Remember, price $1 of the plastic. So when the price of plastic is $1, at 4, I supply 15. Okay, but now let's imagine that the price of plastic has decreased. So if the price of inputs, so input prices, plastic is an input for me. I use it to produce my pen. Okay, when the price of input decreases, it's gonna, let's imagine it decreased to 50 cents. So the plastic that I buy is 50 cents. So now, instead of making a profit of $2, I'm making a profit of $2.5. So I'm gonna increase my supply to make even more money. So at $3, maybe I'm gonna move to 50 At $4, now I'm making $3.5. I'm not counting labor or all that. I'm just taking this into consideration. So at $4, I'm making 3.5 profit. So what am I going to do? Supply more to make even more profit. So the whole supply would increase, shift to the right. Now imagine the contrary. So when the input prices decrease, the supply increases, shifts to the right. Now imagine the contrary. The prices, input prices, increased. So now it costs $2, the plastic that I'm using here. So if it costs $2, at $3, I'm only making $1 of profit. So I'm not going to supply that good. Better supply something else that makes more money. So the supply would decrease. At $4, I'm not making as much profit. So the supply, the quantity supplied would decrease at this price. So the whole supply would shift to the left. It would decrease. Okay? Now, prices of related goods. This one is interesting. In order to explain it, I'm going to use these two books. Okay? If you notice, they're both from Pocket, the same editor. Let's imagine they are using one printing machine. Okay, that's all they have. Excuse me, Pocket. I love your books, by the way. Okay, so here I have Stephen King, and here I have Kafka. Okay, so Kafka was written long time ago. Stephen King is a little bit later. Okay, so they are, let's imagine right now, they are producing both of them 50-50. So you see it's approximately the same size, so the same inputs, the same everything. But right now, they're producing 50-50. Okay, I'm not going to change any variable, and I'm studying the market of Stephen King, this book. Okay, I'm not going to take all the books as one. I'm going to take this good, and this one, I'm going to consider it as another good. Okay, so what's going to happen? This one, I love this one, but this one is easier to read, and well, I love Stephen King. So what's going to happen? If people love this book actually more, they're going to buy more. I made a mistake. I should look at this one. This is the market I'm studying. My whole example went down. Okay, so I'm studying Kafka market. I'm going to redo from the start. I can't stop my video because if I stop it, I have to redo the whole thing. So excuse me. Kafka 50, Stephen King 50. Now let's imagine I'm studying this one. Okay, Kafka. There are a lot of people who are asking for this one. Its demand increased. People want to buy it. So remember, Pocket has only one printer. So what are they going to do? In order to print more of these, they have to print less of this one. Okay? So the supply of Stephen King is going to increase because of its own market. But this one, even though nothing happened to it, it's going to decrease its supply because they are using the same machine. Okay? You cannot produce more of a good without decreasing the production of the other good. That was the PPF. Well, here it's our case. We have the same machine, so if we want to increase the production of this one, we have to decrease the production of this one. So because this is a substitute, a related good, so people are going to buy this one, they're going to buy, this one is going to be supplied less. So its supply is going to decrease even though its price stayed the same. Okay? So when the price of this one goes up, because everybody wants it, it's going up. okay? This one, supply, is going to decrease even though nothing happened to its price. So let's see what's going to happen. Excuse me, my dog is whining. She doesn't like it when I speak alone. She gets scared. I'm not crazy. I'm just working. Okay, let's see it. Kafka Market, okay? And Stephen King, that's the one I'm not studying, okay? QSP. So here was the supply of Kafka, S. Stephen King is here. It had a supply, it had a demand, but then something happened and now it's more beneficial for them to be here at this quantity. Are you following with me? Am I losing you somewhere? So the quantity they used to produce was here, now they're producing here. But they have to decrease the supply of Kafka automatically because they can do both at the same time. So the supply of Kafka is going to decrease due to the price of the other good that is related here. Okay? Moving on. I think you got it. Now, the example I give usually is about cars. And that's the example given in the book too. Okay, you have Clio and Megan. Imagine people want to buy Megan. So the supply of Clio is going to decrease because they use the same production line, okay? So prices of related goods can also affect your supply. Now, government's policy. We don't want to supply something. We don't want it to be supplied. So what can we do? We're going to see the economics of addiction some other time, but let's look at cigarettes. Okay, QP, always P in the y-axis, and X in the and Q in the x-axis. So let's imagine this is my supply for cigarettes. In reality, it doesn't look that way because it's kind of, we're going to study this later. Anyway, now the government doesn't want us to buy cigarettes, which is cool because it's bad for health, especially now with Corona. So what is the government going to do? It's going to actually levy a tax. Okay, that means imposing a new tax. If it imposes a new tax, at this price, you used to supply, let's imagine 10, this is price 2. Now the government added a tax on it. Oh, so now you can't supply 10, you're gonna have to supply less, okay? Same thing at another price, you're gonna supply less. So the whole supply is gonna decrease because of taxes. Same thing if you decrease the tax. You tell them, okay, we want you to produce this good. This good is good, like education. You don't pay taxes at all. The supply is gonna go up. Everybody is gonna supply education, okay? I think you got it. Now, special influences. This one is super easy. Let's imagine the supply of produce. Vegetables, oranges, fruits, whatever. So when it rains, that's a special influence, the supply increases. When it doesn't rain, the supply decreases. In summer, the supply of swimming suits increase. Try to find a swimming suit right now. Well, you can find some, but not as much as during the summer. Umbrellas during the winter, okay? Supply also is going to decrease in times of war. Supply increases with special influences. Peace. Okay, I'm gonna stop here. I think you got the point, okay? So whenever there is a special influence, can be anything that influences your supply other than these four, and you can call it a special influence because it's special, okay? Weather, wars, government policies. If you have a new policy, that's gonna go more into government policies. Anyway, now what we're seeing here is that all these create shifts in supply. So what is a shift in supply? Is that you keep the price as it is and you see what happens to the quantity supplied. It's going to move either to the right, that's an increase, or to the left, and that's a decrease. Okay? So when factors other than the price affect the quantity supplied, we have a shift in supply. You keep the price constant and you see what's happening. So the price here didn't influence the quantity supplied. It was something else, one of these. So keep the price constant, see if the quantity is moving, and then if it moves, it's a shift. Okay. So when factors other than the price affect the supply or the quantity supplied, when factors other than the price affect the quantity supplied, we have a shift in supply. A shift to the right means it's an increase. A shift to the left, it's a decrease. Okay? Now I'm gonna move on. I hope you followed me till here. I'm keeping these because I need them now. That's why I put them at the beginning. How does the back of my head looks? Look, I'm sorry. Now I'm gonna get to see the back of my head thanks to these videos. I'm sure you're wondering where I hid the chocolate. I'm not giving any to you. Yep, revenge. Okay, let's start. Now we're gonna see part C, and that's the important part. Of course, all the others are important, but this one is kind of harder when it comes to calculations. So part C, equilibrium, of supply and demand. Supply and demand. Okay. I kept this here for the simple reason we're gonna add to it another column for the quantity demanded that we have seen before. Not this one, where is it? It's here. Okay, I'm gonna add QD. Okay. In the book, if you want to go there, taking off my props, you go to page, let me see, page 54, table 335. Okay. Right now, I'm just going to put the quantity demanded. So 9, 10, 12, 9, 10, 12, and 15, and 20. Notice that when the price increases, the quantity demanded decreases. When the price decreases, the quantity demanded increases. That's your negative slope right there. That's the law of downward sloping demand. Okay, now I'm going to continue. We're going to see what happens when we have both of them. Okay, I'm going to calculate something that is called QS minus QD. Okay, So right here, when the price is 5, suppliers are ready to supply 18. But buyers, they're ready to buy only 9. So, what are we having? Suppliers are going to have 18 minus 9. They're going to sell 9, but then they're going to be left with the rest, which is also 9. They're going to stay with 9 units not sold. So they're here ready to be sold, but nobody's buying them. That's what we call a surplus. Surplus. I need this other graph, so I'm gonna do like this. Excuse me, guys. I don't have a lot of space. Okay, now let's move to the other price. When the price is 4, suppliers are ready to supply 16. Buyers say, too expensive for me. I'm only gonna buy 10. Okay, so the poor suppliers are left with 6 units. 16 minus 10. 10 are sold, and they're left with 6 units. So it's still a surplus. I'm going to move directly to 1. I'm going to keep this one till the end. When the price is 1, suppliers say, I'm not supplying. It's not interesting to me. While the demand is there, come on, give us this for free, please. No way. So there is a demand of 20. They want to buy, but the supplier is not supplying. So what's happening? We have 20 units that are not there, that we are looking for. We want them, but they're not there. That's a shortage. Shortage. Okay? Look here. Suppliers are ready to supply 7. Buyers, the poor buyers, they want 15. 7 is not enough. So what's going to happen? They're going to buy the 7, but they're still going to have a shortage. I'm sorry, here it's minus 20, which means a shortage, because I'm using QS minus QD. 0 minus 20, it's minus 20. Okay, here same thing. It's going to be a shortage. 7 minus 15, that would be minus 8. We're missing 8 units. Okay, so minus 8, it's still a shortage. But look here, the miracle happened. The suppliers want to supply 12, and the buyers want to buy exactly 12. So everything is fine. That's the perfect situation. We call this one equilibrium. It's our equilibrium. Sorry for my handwriting. Okay? So here, they agree to sell and to buy at the same price. So what am I going to do? I'm going to plot this and see graphically what it means. Let's go here. So I have 20 is the last quantity for the demand, and that would be at price 1. I'm going to do it roughly, okay? 15 would be over here, and that would be for price 2. Price 2, okay, that's 15, roughly. Moving on, can you see? Okay, 12 is 12, it's here at price 3. And then I have 10 at this level, and then I have a 9 at this level. Maybe they really need this one, this good, roughly here. Okay, so that's my demand. I'm gonna put it in another color. I'm gonna use red. Okay, well, oops, Yeah, it's not perfect. I did what I could. Okay, so where is my equilibrium? My equilibrium is here, at the point where they agree to buy and sell at exactly the same price, which is price 3. We call this price price at equilibrium, and we call this quantity quantity at equilibrium. So your PE is here and your QE is here. Now let's look at these. Okay, let's look at this one here. Okay, this point. Look at price 4. At price 4, my demand is here. My supply, quantity supplied, is here. Do you see it? Here's my supply, here's my demand. This is quantity supplied, this is quantity demanded. So the quantity demanded is here. The quantity supplied is here. So the difference between the two is the size of your shortage. Surplus. The size of your surplus. Surplus. Okay? Surplus. Now let's move to a point that is below the equilibrium. This one. Do you see here? Here is the supply, the quantity supply, and here is the quantity demanded. And what is this? The difference between these 2 points? It's the size of your shortage. Here you're going to find 8 units. That's your shortage. Any point that is above the equilibrium, any price above the equilibrium will create a surplus. Any price below the equilibrium will create a shortage. Okay. Now let's see what happens in case the price in the market starts at 4. Okay. So we put a good $4. Look what's going to happen. At $4, they're going to supply this amount, while people are only going to buy this amount. So what is the supplier going to do to attract more people to buy? The supplier will decrease the price. Okay? So let's imagine they decrease till here, the price here. Still a shortage, surplus, I'm sorry. I'm tired. Still a surplus. They're having goods that they cannot sell. So what are they going to do in order to sell these goods? Better sell them. So they're going to decrease the price till they reach the equilibrium. Okay? This is what we call the adjustment mechanism. That means wherever you are at the beginning, you're going to go back to the equilibrium. Let's see now here. Let's imagine the price starts at 2. So suppliers are going to supply this quantity, which was 9, I think. No, 7. 7. Okay, so the suppliers are supplying 7, while they see that people are coming to buy the good. People want the good, but they can come and they don't find the good because it's already sold. So what are they going to do? Smart as they are, they want profit. What are they going to do? They're going to increase the price. You want me to supply you with this good? Better pay for it. Okay, let's imagine they increased it till here. Still a shortage. There are still people coming to buy the good and they don't find it. So the supplier is going to increase the price till we reach the equilibrium. And that is your adjustment mechanism. So whether we start here or we start here, the economy is going to do something on its own, forcing the supplier to either increase the price or decrease the price to reach the equilibrium where everybody's satisfied. It's the market clearing price. Everything supplied is bought and everything bought, everything demanded is there to be bought. Okay? I'm going to move on to the last part. I hope you have this. It's in the book anyway. And that would be, if you want to look at the graph, a better graph than mine, that would be page 55. Okay? Page 55. Moving on to effects of shifts in supply and demand. We're going to look at supply and demand diagrams. And here is where the little tables we have studied are going to have an impact, a huge impact. We're almost done, guys, okay? If you have questions, I'm going to give you a phone number where you can call me. It's going to be posted in the courseware, okay? You can call me during the usual class hour. You can send me emails during usual class hours, but before that, send me an SMS so that I know that I have an email. I'm not going to check it each 2 minutes. That doesn't make sense. And I don't have the alerts. Poor me. Okay, so please do that. I'm going to put the phone. We can WhatsApp also. Use pictures to show you whatever you want. Short videos. I'm with you in this crisis. Okay. Moving on, I told you this is important. So supply and demand diagrams. First thing to do when you hear this, or when you read this, is to plot a supply and demand diagram with everything in it. Okay, so I'm going to make them small because I'm going to make a lot of them. Q, it's not QS, it's not QD now because we're putting both of them together. And P, you plot a curve of demand, you plot a curve of supply, you plot your E, then you show your QE, and you show your PE. Okay? And then we're going to see what's the situation. So let's imagine here that my situation is what would happen to the market in case there is an increase in incomes. Increase in income. Increase in income. You need to look at this and go to your tables and think. Income, is it going to affect the supply or the demand? We studied that the average income actually affects the demand. So when you increase the income, people have more money. Are they going to buy more or less? More, of course, even though the price didn't change. So we're going to have an increase in demand. An increase is a shift to the right. Okay? Plus, okay, increase in demand. Let's look at another case. Before that, I did a really, really bad job because I needed to finish this. So let's see what's going to happen. What's going to happen in my market. This is my new equilibrium, E prime. Do you see it? Okay. E prime is the intersection between the two curves. Here is my QE prime, and here is my PE prime. So here we know that the prices in the market are going to increase. So PE prime will be higher than PE. And we know that people are going to buy more. So QE prime is greater than QE. Okay? Let's move to another one. QP, always plot your demand, supply, equilibrium, QE, PE. Okay? Now I'm going to give you a rise in input prices, an increase in input prices. First decision to make, will it affect the demand or the supply? Input prices will probably affect the supply because it's the one buying inputs. The buyer doesn't produce anything. Okay, so it's going to affect the supply. So I increase my costs. If my costs increase at the same price, I'm going to supply less. So now, at this price, I'm no longer going to supply this, I'm going to supply less. At this price, I'm no longer going to supply this, I'm going to supply less. So there is a shift in supply. Less. So it's a shift to the right or to the left? To the left. Even though it looks higher, it's a decrease because we're going towards the zero, not towards infinity. So here is your new supply. This is your new equilibrium. And this is the quantity at the new equilibrium. And this is the price at the new equilibrium. So here, the prices are going to increase, but the quantities will decrease. You see it? So PE prime is greater than PE, and QE prime is less than QE. It's buying less for more. You buy less product for more money. Okay? Moving on. Which one am I going to give you? Okay, let's look at, we're almost done, guys. Next time we have an exercise to check all this. This is Q, this is P, demand, supply. Always put your equilibrium, quantity at equilibrium, and price at equilibrium. I found an idea earlier. Okay. The government decreased the taxes. Of course, in this market, the market we're studying. Government decreased taxes. Government decreased taxes. What's going to happen? Suppliers are going to make more profit. Okay, good. At this price, are they going to supply this amount? No, they're going to supply more. At this price, are they going to supply this amount? No, they're going to supply more. Okay. There is going to be an increase in supply, a shift to the right. Let's look at the new equilibrium. Here is your E prime. Here is your QE prime. And here is your PE prime. Okay? So we notice that the quantities increased while the prices decreased. Oh. Here, minus. They decreased. Okay? PE prime smaller than PE. And QE prime bigger than QE. So we're buying more for less money. That's good. A last one before we say goodbye or good night, because it's almost midnight Now, for me, for you, it's supposed to be Monday, 2:30. Well, almost 4, because we are at the end of the session. Okay, Q, P, sorry, I can't write. Okay, D, S. Remember, D is always downward sloping, S is always upward sloping. Okay, E, Q, E, and P, E. The last one. Ha ha ha. I'm gonna say that I'm gonna give you something that is a bit harder for the last one, okay? Let me check what I can do in this one. It is Christmas. Christmas. And we're studying the market of gifts. We're studying the markets of gifts. Is it going to affect the supply or the demand? What's changing first? Is it the demand or the supply? The first thing that changes is the demand. People are willing to buy. It's Christmas, they want to go buy. So what's going to happen is that our demand will shift because of the special influence that is Christmas. So plus, of course, suppliers are going to supply more quantity, but it's going to be a movement along the curve, okay? PE prime, QE prime, okay? Both quantities and price are going to increase. So, we're done. I think. Take this down. I'm done. I'm done. I'm gonna go sleep while you have to work. It's day for you. It's night for me. So, good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bug bite. What am I saying? I'm tired. Good night, guys. Love you. Stay safe, please. I really worry about you. So, could you please send me messages? Tell me that you're okay. I really, really do hope you all stay safe, okay? Love you guys. Bye-bye.